Hey, wonderful, beautiful people, a pleasant afternoon to you. You know, beautiful people, I want to share something with you because I think many of us are running and we're living our lives on what we think is truth, what we think is fact, what we think are facts presented to us, especially about people. Even, and we tend to use this, but a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people said Jesus had the spirit of Beelzebub. And when Jesus confronted them and said, have you listened to what you have said? How can Satan's kingdom be divided against itself? Why would he be so much, he abhors God, loathes God, detests God. And then he's going to be preaching about giving your lives to the kingdom and for the kingdom of God. And then himself, does that make any sense? And when he reasoned with them, they realized the nonsense and the folly and the garbage and the lies they tried to promulgate. And many people were saying a lot of things when they were, it's almost like the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they were pee clucking behind him because they were trying to find something to sink him. This pure man in his man form, human form. And I'm saying this to many of you. You've heard things about people, especially popular people, and you feel that it has been factual, not necessarily true. Most times they are lies. Jamaicans have this saying, if it not go so it near go so. Not true. That's not a true statement. We need to get that out of our vocabulary. There are lies that people have told that it's nowhere near. It is not. It is even farther than the east from the west, because I'm told that you can probably measure that. It is not true. A friend of mine, we were talking, and I remember we were part of, something. And he said that somebody labeled a man in terms of his sexuality, not to be on the straight and narrow. And he believed it because the guy was kind of, quirky, some may say eccentric. I wouldn't say eccentric, maybe quirky. Had just his different personality. And thought the fellow was a drag queen. And, he said he don't remember why he had to go to his place of abode for something. And he said when he went there, he was expecting all to see costumes, drag queen things, you don't even know, maybe penises or so, all kinds of things that relate to that. And perceived sexuality. Said when he went there, the house was as normal as a normal house that you would enter. Normal. Lo and behold, some years later, the fellow had gotten married and whatnot to a woman. He was not that way. It's actually a godly person, a good human being. Just because he was different and he didn't present this fake macho, masculinity, this toxic masculinity, to say that if you don't sound coarse and rough and behave very hard and too firm, that you're not a man. And you're not on the straight and narrow. And I realize the lies that have been told about many people because of perception. Their perception is greater than reality, or they may not like the individual and they perceive them a particular way, and then they spread that rumor, and obviously many people will know. It's like a snowballing effect. If you tell one person, then one person tell two, and then 10 people are in the crowd hearing the same thing, it will spread to many people. That's logical. Duh. So it has nothing to do with majority ruling. That is not a true statement also. We have to be careful of how we allow people to demonize people in our minds, because the mind is so powerful. When you hear these things, you're going to wonder, what if it goes? And you start to see the person, anything that looks very funny, Lord, it looks like it is true when it is not. Yes, especially as it relates to people's sexuality. And I see that a lot here in Jamaica. If a man does this or that, you hear that he's gone. We need to stop it. Stop it. It is not right. You're damaging reputations and relationships. Because that poor fella that I'm talking about, maybe he was interested in a woman that he's on, because people demonize him, he just kept to himself because they probably would have chased him away. We need to stop it. God is going to hold many of you accountable for the many lives that you have damaged, destroyed, annihilated because of your lies and rumors, and you hear something and you run with it and you cause others, you aid in causing, because they should have known better. You aid in causing others to believe a fantasy, a fallacy, I should say, not even a fantasy, a fallacy, something that was evil and malevolent, wicked. And the only way you will sometimes, many of you, if not all the time, understand is when it happens to you or your loved ones. And you see the destruction and the mayhem that it causes, when it wreaks that havoc in your lives, then you will begin to say, oh my God. I've often said, you realize that rumor and tumor rhymes? You think it is just coincidental? They have the same effect, or similar effect, I should say. And the tumor destroys the body, the rumors destroy the emotional, the psychological, and ultimately the physical life of that individual. Sometimes a person ends up unaliving his or her own self because they couldn't take the pressure, they couldn't take the negativity, the ostracism, the blackballing, the gaslighting, the bad treatment, because people believed a fallacy about them, and it created that malady in their lives. People need to stop it. Stop it and stop promulgating. And you will hear people talk very broad brush. The number of married men who are on the other side. Do you have the statistics to prove it? Because you may see them in the company, maybe based on the nature of their job or what they have to do. They have to be around all kinds of people. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're that way, or they have no inhibitions to people's different lifestyles. We have to be very careful. We need to stop it. Many of you just see them with somebody talking. There are many people you don't know their sexuality or their orientation, and you could be talking to them. They could be a good friend, and you're there going moseying along. And can you imagine people secretly labeling you that, and you don't even know? You have to be very careful. People, stop it. It's not a 50-50 thing where, 50 in 2022, I think it was, when the World Health Organization gave their census, you call it, or whatever it is, and they were breaking it down. It was only 3. And all of the 3% fell under that particular grouping. Like you'd say, I guess the lesbians, the gays, and whatever you want to call the rest of them. 3%. And that's a big number in comparison to the 7 or nearly 8 billion people in the world. But I'm just showing you that the other percentage, and let us say they didn't get everybody. We can even push up to 5. Pushed up to even 5. We have to be very careful when we run with them, because it ends up destroying people's lives. And I realize that is a way that they're carrying people. That's a label on them now. Nothing else, no other label. Either they're thieves or their sexuality is not on the straight and narrow. No other infraction or misconduct or sin they can commit. And many of you don't have no proof, no statistics, because there is none. They have all been lies. Lies on top of lies on top of lies. And until it comes to your home, that is when you will begin to understand the pain that many of you have contributed to in the lives of others. Stop it. My goodness gracious me. When my friend said he went to the person's place, and he don't remember what he needed, and I had to go. And I'm glad it was God. It was divine intervention for God to show him that all of what they've said about him was a lie. Lie from the pit of hell. When he went there, normal looking place, normal conversation, and they have no proof. And not because they have any proof, it is actually not true. My God, I see people do it, and it is a big thing now, where people are now afraid to do things because they're going to be, next thing they're going to be labeled that they're on the lean side, not on the straight side. What the heck is going on? That's a limited vocabulary, limited thinking. Emotional intelligence is low, and the IQ is very low. We have to rise above this evil and wickedness. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. We TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe and give me one of those lions, please.